Hello and welcome to another edition of the Long Island View. I'm Tom Mealy.
I am Tommy Marr.
Does that ever change?
Change it up.
Do you remember that one day we'll open up and say, "Hell, welcome to the Long Island View. I am Tommy Marr."
I'm Tom Mealy.
Oh, I love that.
I think that works.
I love that. And that sound you hear, ladies and gentlemen, is the one and only Mr. Willie Scoppettone. Did I get it right?
You got it right this time.
Look at
You
that.
got it right this time.
Went
Willie.
into practice.
I went in the other room when I was proud. Willie is the musical director for many, many bands. One in particular we just had on our past show, Mr. Donnie Most. Those of you who don't know the name Donnie Most, you're probably living in a cave, but Donnie Most played Ralph Mouth in Happy Days. Willie, thanks for being on The View.
Thank you for having me here.
Talk to me. Tell us, Donnie Most, you're the musical director. What does that mean, musical director?
Well, you wear a lot of hats when you're the musical director. You know, you get to do a lot of things. We start with arranging the songs. We pick the songs. We arrange them. We assemble the. We have different teams around the country because we can't carry the whole band. So just Donnie and I travel, and we take. We get a group of musicians from the Midwest. We got a group of musicians out in Los Angeles, and so depending on where we are, it's depending on who we use. So I have to make sure that the books are all in order, and these guys could just read it down and Donnie gives me new material now and then, and we just keep adding to our repertoire and just keep getting this act booked and keep it going.
See, Tommy, you would know better than I because obviously I know about as much about music as I do brain surgery, and Tommy is our music guy here at the studio.
Yes.
And he knows his music. There's no denying that, even though I hate to tell him as often as I do, but I do. But there is when you say that you've got bands, different parts of the country, is this something normal? Is this something that artists do these days? That like I know that you play saxophone and you also
Correct.
play keyboard.
Correct.
I know that how do you get a band in the Midwest that has never met somebody like Donnie together and put all these people together on a stage in a matter of literally hours? How do you do that?
He picks professionals out,
Yeah.
and it's a matter of just saying, hey, guys, here's what we got, here's the music. They learn their parts, and when they walk in the studio, they're ready to go.
Just like that.
Basically, you have to have people that really can read music
Right.
really good. And usually I tend to reach out to the piano players because the piano players have people that they're used to working
Right.
with. And so they'll refer me to a bass player, a guitar player, trumpet, trombone. I do the sax and I conduct. And then we get in a day early. We rent a studio. We do a rehearsal. The next day is the show. It's really basically, you have to have talented people that really know how to
Right.
read. Mostly college guys,
Yeah.
We use the younger guys that really know how to could just read it down.
Is there a list of these people that do this, or do you? How
I
do
think
you
it's a circuit
find?
thing. It's
It's
an
underground
It's a
kind of
world.
thing.
It's a world that everybody knows. Like he said, he'll call a piano player. That guy knows everybody in that area, so he knows the best in that area. He's going to get him the best.
Right.
And that's how it works. I mean, he's not going to bring in some schlump that's going to ruin his show.
Yeah.
He's going to bring in pros, and they're going to come in and do what they got to do and be done.
And you have to have people that are good in, just like in law, how you have, trial attorneys. You have this-
Paralegals, legal
Yeah, you
secretaries.
have all
everything.
different. Well, you have guys that primarily play jazz. You got guys that primarily play rock. You're not going to get a rock guy to do a jazz gig with Donnie. They're not going to be able to do it. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So you got guys who are predominantly play this genre of music that you're playing. If we're doing something with, let's say, Zebra's not a good example because they're just three guys. But if you get a lead singer, like let's say for the Little River Band, and he's coming in, I'm going to get guys. I'm going to call Tommy. I'm going to say, Tommy, I need a rock band to back Wayne Nelson from the Little River Band. I would call him, but I wouldn't call him for a Donnie show. No offense, but
I could help you.
you could.
I know a lot. No,
but you understand. I mean,
I'm a genre
all
guy.
right, so let's-
But you're right. You're absolutely right.
You're putting on this big event here on the East Coast. Donnie Most is flying out from California. Let's talk about that. We're going to try to, he's coming in July. So tell us a little about that. Where are you guys going to be? What are you going to be doing? When is Donnie going to be arriving? And how do you think that show's going to go?
Well, the show is, the tickets are selling well. So they're selling steadily. So I'm not worried about the attendance. I think the attendance is going to be great. He doesn't come around often, which is good. He's not oversaturated the market. So I think that we're going to have great attendance. The show is going to be, this is my hometown. So I have my guys here. This is not my away team. It's not my B team.
You got the all-star team.
So I got the all-star team, and I have the luxury of rehearsing with these guys prior to Donnie getting here, really refining the show. Sometimes when you're out on the road, you kind of have to phone certain things in just to get through the show. You can't worry about every little nuance. You have to just kind of get the show done. If a piano player can't get this really hard part, you might have to simplify something. Because, it's something that's really, really hard. But here in New York, I have the luxury of taking care of that and really refining the show. So musically, it's going to be really, really good.
Now, I know that you're playing at the Iridium.
Yes.
When is the Iridium?
The Iridium is July 7th, and I believe it's an 8 o'clock show.
8 o'clock show.
Great place. I love that place.
And then after the Iridium,
The Iridium, then we take a 5-day break. We're going to be in McClune Supper Club, July 12th in Asbury Park, New Jersey.
and then after that, Port Jefferson.
Then it'll be, then we take a couple of week break, and then July 25th, we're at the Theater 3 in Port Jefferson.
Now, is this band that you put together, are they going to be the band that's going to be traveling on all three?
They'll be on all three of the shows.
All three.
Yes.
That's great. How is it, what is it like working with him?
Donnie's a great guy. I mean, he's a real gentleman. He's a great musician, far beyond even what he'll tell you. You know, he thinks like he sings and but he really gets, he gets tones. He knows the ninths, he knows the 11ths, he knows the 13ths. He gets, he gets music. He's really super duper intelligent, and he's got a great voice. He's got a really good, that honey tone kind of voice that you need for jazz. People don't expect it from him. I've told people what the show is about. I say, listen, I put a band together. We're going to be doing these standards and stuff like that. And then after the show, they're like, oh, we thought like Donnie was going to do like stand-up, and, you guys were going to just play some tunes. They didn't even get the fact that he was going to
This
actually
is a question
sing.
I wanted to ask you, because
Sure.
I'm it's like a two-sided sword, or whatever the expression is, because I would think that, number one, you're going to sell seats because it's him.
Right.
So,
That's
like
gonna
you
get him in
said,
the door.
you're not going to. But I would think that people actually, you said it before, I think that actually, I was shocked to hear that he's a singer. And being that he is known for what he's done with Happy Days, I would think almost prior to hearing him, it would almost, I don't want to say the word hurt him, because I think people, like you're saying, they're expecting him to come up and be funny.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So it's probably a great thing once you get him in the seats that they come in, and because he is a pro,
Right.
and like, wow, this guy can sing too. So I mean, it kind of works good both ways.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's the double-edged
Right.
sword.
Thank
Yep.
you.
It's the double-edged
We
sword.
have if you don't mind, we actually have a clip of Donnie singing
Sure.
Mac the Knife, I believe it is.
Absolutely.
Janine, are we able to play that clip?
That's Donnie's musical hero.
Are
Bobby
we able
Darin.
to do that? But in the meantime, while they're getting that clip up, let's talk about Willie.
Sure.
You've been around Long Island for a long time.
I've been around.
This
a long
guy,
time.
he's played with some of the biggest bands
This
around.
is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Zebra.
Willie and I met on an event put on out at the Amphitheater about
Yeah.
4 years ago.
5 years now.
Has
Yeah.
it been 5 years, been that long?
Yeah.
And I was amazed at the way that was put together. That was one of the first real venues that I had a chance to really get involved with some of the promoters that put that together, which was a fella from the Volkswagen place, I forget what his name is,
Ron
Siegel, put that together. And you have been here several times with Mickey B.
Yeah. Kathy Jean and the Roommates.
And I got to tell you, it's been a while. I don't know if I was here for that day. Was I here that day?
You were here.
I was here. Why didn't I pick up on that?
I have no idea.
That was pretty strange. I don't
remember.
remember because I know you. I remember, and I'm saying to myself, why don't I remember that day? That was
Well,
incredible.
you were probably
Do we
watching-
have that clip ready? All right, this is going to be Donnie. This is him singing "Mac the Knife," and this is the Donnie Most that you're going to be seeing at the Iridium in Port Jefferson and out in New Jersey. Watch this clip. We'll be right back.
I said Jenny Diver, whoa, Suki Tawdry, look out to Miss Lottalinia, oh, and Lucy Brown. Yes, that line forms on the right, babe, Taranaki, back in town.
Well, that was just a little clip here of Donnie singing. Tell us, Willie, you've played with some incredible musicians in your
Absolutely.
lifetime.
Yeah.
Who are they?
Well, my first claim to fame was playing in 1987. I started playing with the band Zebra. It was a total. There was no rehearsal. There was no. I actually thought they were kidding with me. Then they said, why don't you come up and play with me? And we went to go play up in Poughkeepsie. Now I've never played off the island, so to me it felt like I was going to like.
You were on the road.
I was on the road to Europe or something.
That's right.
And I was so nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen, and I just, I did a great job, they said, and asked me what I was doing the next night, because they were going to be playing at this place called Club Benet in New Jersey, if you remember that place.
Yes.
And so I said, and I had a gig with another band that the very next night, a local band, and I just called them up and I said, I'm not going to be there. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm not going to be there. I'm playing with Zebra at Club Benet. And it was so cool because when I pulled up, it was like it said Zebra on the marquee, and then the next night it said Regis and Kathy Lee.
Oh,
And I just being associated with that just kind of blew my mind. And I've been with them now for 26 years.
But that had to be a great feeling, though, to walk in as one of the band members,
I wouldn't call myself a band member. I'm
Well,
I'm like Bobby Keys with the Rolling Stones.
But I'm saying, for you mentally,
Oh, yeah.
to walk in the club and be in
Oh,
the
yeah.
back in the dressing room and everything,
and then, yeah.
and you're with,
And-
an iconic band.
Yeah, and then the next thing you know, here I am playing at, like I said, the Holiday Inn on
Right.
Exit 55,
Hey.
and now I'm signing autographs and taking pictures with people. It was like,
Crazy.
I was more excited than the people I was signing the autographs for. So, and then that started, being with them. They introduced me to some great people. I played with Randy Coven. I played with Al Petrelli. We did tours with them. That was really great. And I got to do a video with Zakk Wylde.
Wow.
Zakk Wylde guested on Randy Coven's record, and the next thing you know, Randy's calling me up. He says, "Hey man, we're doing this video, and they got horns in the video. I didn't actually play on the record, but they needed a sax guy, so we went upstate and we went and
He's
filmed
amazing.
this thing,
He's amazing.
and then I didn't know who the lead guy was going to be, and it was Zakk Wylde,
Yeah, he's amazing.
and I was like, from he was with Ozzy Osbourne at the time.
Yeah.
This was like mind-boggling to me.
he's-
Eddie Kramer was there.
Yeah.
He was sitting next to me, it's like Randy. I don't know who he is, by face, and so Randy's like, Willie, Eddie Kramer, and I'm like, like jelly. So, and then, over the years, then I started getting involved with the doo-wop circuit. I played with probably every doo-wop band that you could probably imagine, either saxophone or keyboards, and then I was a member of Big Shot for the first 11 years that they were together.
Big local band around here.
Big, Michael is playing with Billy Joel
Yeah.
now. It's just
He was here, told the story.
Yeah,
Right
I
here.
mean, it's astounding. I mean, the guy, to be from a cover band to playing with the original artist,
That's got to be.
It's-
It was,
surreal.
it was
It's
a
a
great
quantum
story
leap.
to sit and
It's-
listen
it's-
to him tell the story.
Yeah.
Because, like you just said, you were like jelly, you know, and
How do
he
you
was
feel
kind
when
of
you
the same
go on?
thing.
I mean, you're with these. It's got to be an incredible feeling the first time you get out on stage and that audience is there, and you're with these guys. You're now part of them. Willie Scoppettone is now part of this band. How does that? I mean, what goes through your mind?
You're on a different level. You're not
Professional.
playing at the local bar, where it's always important to sound good, but you let certain things go. But now you're playing with the big boys.
And it ups your game a little, too.
Yeah, when you play with people that are better than you, you become better.
Right.
It's a great learning experience. I went right away. I went on the road with Zebra for 5 years. They were still touring pretty extensively at the time when I first started with them. So for 5 years, I was on the road and got to hang with Randy, and he would show me certain licks and this, and hey, why don't you play it like this, and why don't you do this, and da 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 da. So I got a real good. And I didn't go to music college. I wouldn't go to school for music.
That
I'm
was your
self-taught,
music college.
and that was
Nothing
my
better than that.
yeah. So what I did is they gave me the job of handling the merchandising, so I can get a paycheck, and I got to play.
Wow.
So the merchandising was because they couldn't bring me around as a saxophone player. They didn't need me to play, but they liked it. It was a great addition to the show. So they had me doing the merchandising, and I was selling the T-shirts, and I'd get that all set up and
Yeah.
take care of all that and do the accounting and everything.
Big part of the game.
Yeah, and that got me paid, and that got me to stay out on the road with them. And it was really,
Was saxophone your first choice?
saxophone is my main instrument. That's what
Was that your first choice? I mean, you've been playing sax now for how many? A long time.
Well, I'm 54. I started when I was 12.
Playing sax,
Yeah,
and you play high school,
high school I started. Yeah,
and that was your first choice.
yeah. I played piano by ear. I self-taught on the piano, but I played basically all over the country.
40 years you've been playing
Yeah.
saxophone.
Yeah, it's a long time. If you don't get good at it by then, you probably should hang it up. I would
Well, let me tell you
imagine.
something. From the people that you've been playing with, it sounds like you're very good at what you do.
Thank
And I have to say firsthand, I've heard you many times play, and I can see why they take you and have you do what you do. I mean, obviously, you do a phenomenal job, and to have Donnie have you part of that band and pull you in as a musical director, I can only imagine that they're not questioning your abilities. You're there.
Yeah,
So
that was a great. I didn't know that phone call was coming. I had a sneaking suspicion something was coming because from the Doo-Wop Rock show, we
The
had
one
taken,
5 years ago.
Yeah, the one 5 years ago. We were taking video and we took pictures, and I never sent them to Donnie or anything, and he never asked for them. But then about a year and a half ago, he started calling me. He said, "Do you have pictures of me singing with you? Can you send them to me?" And I was,
Amazing.
I didn't
So for
question
him to remember what you did,
Yeah.
had to be. It was there.
Well, we stayed
It
in
was an
touch.
impression.
We stayed in touch over the years. We became friends right away. So over the years, we talk on holidays and just, kind of stayed in touch. If I felt like I haven't talked to him in a while, I'd give him a ring and just stay in touch. But then he started asking me for pictures, and then, do you have any video of me playing? And again, I didn't question what his motive was. I just said, sure. I just sent it. And then about a month later, he goes, I got this thing in my mind that I want to do a music show. And it was originally going to be, because he was on Happy Days, it was going to be a 50s review. And so we started putting together a 50s kind of show and asked me if I wanted to be musical director. But then somebody offered us a gig at the Vitello's, where you just saw the clip. Said, we want you to come in, but we want you to do could you do swing and big band? And that's Donnie's first love. That's what he really likes to do. So we switch gears. We do one rock and we do shake, rattle, and roll. And he tells a great Happy Days story right before that. And so we do one song, but basically it's a swing show, big band, Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Rat Pack. It's the Rat Pack.
It's great stuff.
We,
Never dies.
No, we're wearing the nice suits. We got the whole thing. It's the whole aura, It's really great, and my mom, who the first time I ever watched Happy Days, said to me, and I was 13 years old at the time. She said, I don't know if you're going to be watching this show anymore because Ralph Donnie was hiding a hickey.
Oh my God!
He was wearing a sweatshirt, a turtleneck, in the summertime, and they're like, "Hey, Ralph, why are you wearing a turtleneck?" He says, "Oh, to hide a hickey," and he shows a hickey. So my mother was like, "Oh, I don't know about this show. I don't think you'll be watching this anymore." But then, of course, we did watch the show, and now, of course, my mother doesn't remember that story.
It's crazy
She goes,
that stuff.
"I always loved Happy Days. What are you talking about?"
Because it's like when Dick Van Dyke, I think they were the first ones that went in the same bed.
Same bed, yeah.
You know,
It was a big,
and
big
Lucy
thing.
was the first one that was pregnant.
Yeah.
It was
Like Donnie said, on the show, 40 million people.
Well,
That's amazing.
There was only 5 networks.
40 million people watch.
But you got to remember too, there was a lot less people and a lot less televisions too.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you got a television in every room in the house.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
But you have how many channels? You have 400 channels.
3,000.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So the numbers are different.
Right.
If you have a hit show now, you have about 5 million people watching you.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
hit show now.
Yeah, like
That's a good show.
Modern
Modern
Idol,
Family.
it was like 10 million. That was massive.
We've got a few minutes left, and of course, obviously, we're going to try to get down to the Iridium on July 7th as
Great.
well, and see the show. But if people needed to get tickets, they want tickets to see the show. Where do they find them?
Well, they can call the Iridium. I don't have the number.
But they can just call the Iridium.
They can call the Iridium. They can go online at the Iridium and just Google the Iridium, and I'm sure there's a place to buy tickets online. Same thing with Theater 3 and McClune's. You can go online and get the.
The great thing about the Iridium is no matter where you are, you're right up close there.
It's a great seat.
It's such
Now,
a
how
I
many
love that place.
people? Because I've never been at the Iridium.
About 200.
Yeah.
About 200. That's it.
But it's so comfy and so
Yeah.
tight. The worst seat in the house is, from here to that column.
Right.
It's
Well,
great.
we have an inn here, Tommy. I mean, we don't have
Yeah.
to worry about a bad
I don't think
seat
you
here.
have to worry about
I mean,
Well, the owner
don't let him
is a
out
very
the
good
door,
friend of mine. Ron Stern
tonight
is a
unless,
very good friend
we
of
have
mine.
a seat here waiting for us. Don't let him go.
I'll show you the interview with
But,
Ron.
I know that I'm really looking forward to it. And actually, I'm on vacation that week, so that's going to make it even better for me. But
Good.
we'll
Yeah.
definitely
And we'll come to Theater
down.
3 too. I love Theater
And
3.
maybe we'll come with the hot rod and show up with the hot rod at the same time.
That would be great.
That would be wild.
That's
but,
some Happy Day stuff right there.
That is. Well, the Tea Bucket will be here on the 5th, and we'll get some nice
Great.
pictures.
I also wanted to mention one other thing. On September 27th, we're doing a benefit for Ryan Prager, in memory of him. Randy Jackson and I are going to perform as a duo to raise money for the Music Academy for Special Learners, which teaches autistic children how to play the piano and voice and other instruments as well, but not too much, but mostly piano. And they can call Roy Prager. Vicky has there it is. It's right there.
Great.
All the information is right there, and that's going to be a.
Now, where is that going to be taking place?
Oh, that's at Shandon Court in East Islip.
In East Islip.
Yeah.
Well, here at the studio, I say this story over and over again, that we built the studio on the premise that we would like to help people with debilitating illnesses and non-for-profits to get the message out. And anything that we can do here at Madhouse TV to help promote that, we're on board with it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Even as far as, we can talk later on about possibly even streaming it or whatever you want to do.
You could
We
actually
can
bring
discuss
Randy
that.
in too, and the both of you could.
But we'll be really happy to do anything we can. Willie, it's been a pleasure having you on here. I'm glad we connected again. I mean, it was
Yes.
funny. I ran into you at the hospitality
That's right.
ball that was put on by the fabulous, Mr. Hart, Keith Hart put on the hospitality ball. It was great seeing you there. It's just amazing, Tommy, how the connection just all comes together.
It's all meant to be.
I
meant to be.
haven't seen you to me, 4 years, and then all of a sudden, we meet and we
There's a
have
reason for that.
you here,
Yeah.
Donnie coming in. I mean, this thing for autism, which is
Yep.
really important to all of us here. So I want to
it-
thank you for being part of
And there's
this.
going to be some other big names coming through too, so.
We'll talk. But I want to thank you for coming down to
Thank
Long
you.
Island View
Thank you for having
and
me.
being part of the show. This has been another edition of the Long Island View. I'm Tom Mealy.
I am Tommy Marr.
We're not going to switch tonight. We've got a lot of amazing things coming up. I want to say a special thanks to Jerry Parisi, who has made this possible with the Filmmakers Show here on Cable 20. And we'll be back next week with another edition.
I think we should give the girls a little pop too.
Well, I got to tell you, we couldn't do it without Janine and Vicky, and they're in the studio right now making this all happen. So good night. We'll talk to you next week here on the Long Island View.